You know that feeling, right? You're starting to feel a little off, a little run down. So you run your fingers along your neck, and there they are, those tender, swollen lumps. It's like the classic sign that you're sick. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what is actually happening in there? Well, you've just found your body's unsung hero right in the middle of a major operation. So that's what we're diving into today. We are pulling back the curtain on one of the most important, and honestly, one of the most overlooked systems in your entire body, the lymphatic system. Let's get into it. I love to think of the lymphatic system as your body's own personal security team and sanitation department, all rolled into one. It's this silent, tireless bodyguard working 24/7 to keep you safe and clean from the inside out. It's pretty incredible. So, what is it exactly? Well, it's this huge network of vessels and organs, kind of like a second circulatory system that runs right alongside your blood vessels. But here's the thing, instead of blood, it's moving a clear fluid called lymph. And its job description? Oh, it is long and it is critical. It really boils down to three core missions. First, and this is the big one, it's your front line of immune defense. It's protecting you from all sorts of nasty invaders. Second, it's a master plumber, managing fluid levels to make sure you don't swell up. And third, it even gets involved in nutrition, helping you absorb fats from your food. A true jack of all trades, right? All right, so to really understand how it pulls all this off, let's take a quick tour of the main facilities. We're going to check out the command centers and the key structures that make this whole security network tick. We're talking about the big guns here. You've got the spleen, which is like this master filter for your blood. You have the thymus gland, a super specialized training academy for your immune cells. Then there are the tonsils, which are basically bouncers for your throat. And of course, the hundreds and hundreds of lymph nodes, all connected by this massive superhighway of lymph vessels. Let's start with the big one, the spleen. This is the system's largest organ, and it's like a highly advanced filtration plant. It's constantly screening your blood, pulling out old, worn-out red blood cells, and also fighting off certain kinds of bacteria. So it's part quality control, part security force. Next up is the thymus. Now this is cool. Think of it as a boot camp, but for a very special kind of immune cell called a T cell. It's working like crazy when we're kids, training up every single T cell we're going to need for our entire life. And then, by the time we hit puberty, its job is pretty much done. It basically retires. And this brings us right back to where we started, those swollen glands. They aren't glands at all, they're actually your lymph nodes. You have hundreds of these little bean-shaped filtering stations all over your body. When they swell up, it's because they are packed to the brim with immune cells, all working overtime to trap and destroy whatever's making you sick. It's a sign that your security checkpoints are on high alert. Okay, so we've toured the facilities, we've met the staff. Now let's see what happens when the alarm bells actually start ringing. This is the anatomy of an attack and how your body fights back. When a pathogen gets in, your body deploys its special forces. First on the scene are the macrophages. They're like the beat cops who find the trouble and call for backup. That call goes to the helper T cells. They're the commanders who mobilize the troops. And those troops include the B cells, which are like an intelligence unit that tags invaders for destruction, and the elite killer T cells, whose job is to take out any of your own cells that have been hijacked. So you can think of it as a two-pronged strategy. You've got the killer T cells acting like an internal affairs division. They hunt down your own cells that have gone rogue and turned into virus factories. At the same time, the B cells are like the border patrol. They're creating these things called antibodies to tag and neutralize the foreign invaders that are just floating around freely in your system. So here's the playbook, step by step. 1. Alarm. A macrophage spots an invader. 2. Activate. A helper T cell calls in the B cell and killer T cell response teams. 3. Tag. The B cells start mass-producing antibodies to label all the bad guys. And 4. Destroy. The killer T cells take out infected cells while macrophages move in to gobble up the tagged invaders. It's this incredible, coordinated dance of destruction. But here's the really brilliant part. This whole process doesn't just defeat the current invader, it also creates a memory of that fight. And that's how we build a stronger long-term defense. That's how we build immunity. Now, immunity really comes in two main flavors. There's innate immunity, which is kind of the generic defense system you're born with. Think your skin, for example. But then there's adaptive immunity, and this is the really clever one. This is the immunity your body learns and acquires over time as it comes across different germs. And we can break this adaptive immunity down even more. You can get it naturally, like when your body actively fights off an infection, or you can get it passively, like when a baby gets antibodies from its mother's milk. Then there's the artificial route. A vaccination actively trains your immune system, while something like an immunoglobulin shot passively gives you a temporary dose of someone else's antibodies. Let's just focus on vaccinations for a second, because they're a perfect example of this in action. A vaccine is basically a training simulation for your immune system. Your body gets to see a weak or dead version of the bad guy, which is enough to trigger that full lymphatic response. It learns the enemy's face and creates memory cells, giving you long-term protection, all without you ever having to get truly sick. It's a live fire drill without the live ammo.
Of course, sometimes this incredibly powerful system can get it wrong. In autoimmune diseases, it's a case of mistaken identity. The security team gets confused and starts attacking your own healthy cells. And with allergies, well, the system just works a little too well. It sees something totally harmless, like pollen or peanuts, and mounts a massive, full-scale attack. So after hearing all of that, you're probably wondering how you can help out your inner bodyguard. The great news is it's actually pretty simple. First, stay hydrated. Your lymph fluid is about 95% water, so it needs it. And here's the absolute key. Your blood has the heart to pump it around, but your lymph fluid has no pump. It relies on you moving your body. Your muscles contracting are what pushes that fluid along. So keeping active is vital. Even just taking deep breaths helps move it. Look, your lymphatic system is an absolute masterpiece of biology, working around the clock to protect you. So the real question is, now that you know everything it does for you, what are you going to do for it today? Maybe go for a walk, drink an extra glass of water? It seems like a pretty small price to pay for a bodyguard this loyal, don't you think?